Hey Thomas, what do you got for us today?
All right, Jonathan, I'm going to talk about bricks, the currency bricks, not the bricks you build houses with. All right. Um, Believe it or not, there's quite a few people out there that don't really have a lot of knowledge of it, but they should have a lot of knowledge. Back in 2008, when we had the financial collapse with the mortgages and the banking and the bailouts in this country, Putin actually said, "Hey, listen, how can we depend on the U.S. dollar?" Now, the U.S. dollar basically they the government actually does bonds, and we have a lot of countries that have bought our bonds over the years. Well, guess what? Countries don't want to buy our bonds anymore, and the U.S. currency is getting in trouble. And to go into a little bit of history, it'll be 80 years on July 1st, 1944, that the U.S. dollar became king. It was at a conference called Bretton Woods up in New Hampshire at Mount Washington Hotel, where you had 44 nations meet. The U.S., of course, was the power during World War II, and we had a lot of countries give us their gold, especially in Europe, because we helped them during the war. So that was like payback. So the U.S. it was backed by gold, the U.S. dollar at the time. So we became the buying power, the petrodollar. You know, you had to, if you had to buy oil with the Arabs, you had to use the U.S. dollar. Well, that agreement came to an end 3 weeks ago. Now the Arabs are allowing to, buy oil with any currency. They didn't renew the deal with the U.S. So BRICS basically stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Also involved with the original group there was United. Was it Arab Emirates was involved. There was 9 original members. It was also Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran. Those were all the original members itself. Okay, so BRICS has now gained some momentum 15 years into it. All right, are you familiar with BRICS itself, Jonathan?
So I guess what I guess a good point for us to go over with the people is like, how will this affect everyday people out there? Like how is this going to affect them? How is it going to affect businesses, every people's everyday life, and maybe even more than that, what will be like your idea? What do you think it's going to take? How long will it take to really make those changes in people's everyday lives? If it's something we can kind of go over.
Well, the funny thing is we're on the cusp possibly of World War III. And if we go to World War III, it's not over the Ukraine, because Ukraine is all a propaganda war by the Western countries, the United States and Europe. Okay. Oh, Russia's the bad guy in that. Russia's not the bad guy in this. They've been provoked, and that's what's happened. This past Sunday, the United States Air Force, they actually had shot missiles into Crimea on the beach, killed 5 Russians and injured over 100 people. And the reason why the U.S. Air Force was involved, because the U.S. Air Force has the technology with their drones to guide those missiles and unjam the systems the Russians were using to protect themselves. So that's why. You're not hearing much about it on Western media, but you'll find a lot about it on over the internet. So they're hiding the truth from us. Again, it's the propaganda machine. We used to, like, I grew up learning about the propaganda machines of Nazi Germany, and the Russians, communists. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, this country, United States, is pumping out a lot of propaganda where the people are going to have to wake up and realize, we're swallowing more propaganda than a porn star swallows, what. Okay. So this all has to come to realization when people got to open their eyes. But I feel the U.S. is, they're worried because they're going to lose the dollar as the buying power. And if you know anything about Venezuela, Venezuela used to be a very wealthy nation. Venezuela is a very high inflated, poor country right now. And the U.S., not saying we're going to turn into that, but we're losing the value on our dollars. We all know that because of inflation. A dollar, what we could buy with $1 or $100 4 years ago is now costing us about 25-30% more. So that means you lost 25 to 30 cents on that dollar from just 4 years ago. Do you see where I'm coming from, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, everyone knows in that matter. Like, you can't
Correct.
buy houses, and you can't buy everyday goods that you need. They we talked about this a couple of times, how they're jamming it down our throats that things are looking better and inflation is down, but everyone that knows and goes to the store, maybe a lot of people don't really pay attention, but I don't know how you can't in this day and age with everything just so inflated.
Yeah. Look, here's something. You have 15 countries that have applied to now start using Brics in theirs. And here's some of the countries. You have Thailand, Venezuela, Vietnam, Yemen. You have Colombia. You have Iraq. You have Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Senegal, Algeria. You also have Belarus, Bolivia. All right. And there's also another potential 24 countries that are also applying as well. So they're leaving the U.S. dollar. What's this telling you? Okay, this should be people as a wake-up call.
Do you think anything with like how do you think Bitcoin works into any of this?
My thoughts on Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin has been a front from the beginning, like a litmus test. And why I say that is I think they wanted to test the waters to see how people would accept digital currency. All right. And that was a form of digital currency. Now you have these other ones that have popped up because in the end, when they're really going to issue out digital currency, who's going to be the one that's going to do it? Who's sitting in the driver's seat and with the king's crown? That's what I really feel about that. All right. Hey, listen, why don't you buy gold? Why don't you buy silver? That's what it comes down to. I mean, gold's been used since the beginning of time to trade anywhere and everywhere. And you had all these different nations. The problem is the U.S. has gotten way too greedy, and so has the Western world and Europe. It's not a good situation. The world has changed because of the internet. The world has changed tremendously. So we should kind of like respect that and respect other human beings in other countries and try to come to a better understanding. You can still be captain of the ship. You don't have to be the bully of the ship. And the problem is, the U.S. wants to be the bully and the captain. And you know what? You can't do that. It's just not. This is, the 21st century. We have to slowly come together.
People are waking up. They're seeing that they don't need to take that from both sides.
Well, yes and no. But the problem is with most Americans, I've lived here my whole life, but I've been blessed to travel. Most Americans wear horse blinders. They think they have the best country in the world and their shit don't stink. Okay. That's where the problem is with Americans. You got to open your eyes and, realize there's other parts of the world. There was so much hatred towards Muslim people because of 9/11. And who basically pumped that up? The propaganda. Listen, are there bad apples everywhere? Yeah, most definitely. I don't know if people realize, but this country is responsible for 20 million deaths since, after World War II. All right. Look to see how evil we are. I want to say Putin's evil. Listen, when you're a country of power, yeah, there's going to be body counts, but you want to make yourself look like, oh, we're this godly country. We're angel wings. We got a halo. That's bullshit, It's like I see the truth and I see what's out there. You wonder when you keep talking like this, you're going to have a knock on your door in the middle of the night. You're going to have, a bunch of agents around your head. That's what it comes down to. But that's what they're making you feel like it was in Nazi Germany or Russia. Yeah, I mean, like they don't want you to speak up. Listen, they censored the internet during the 2020 election against Trump, Facebook, Google, and all. You don't do that if you live in a free nation. That's why we have free speech. Let everybody speak and let the individual on the other end realize what's happening. But they want to try to control you. It's like the media. You're going to have this presidential debate where they're going to be able to censor, the CNN anchors are going to be able to censor you and shut off your microphone. That's not the right thing to do. Let the candidates speak, for crying out loud. We want to hear what they got to say. Good or bad, we want to hear what they got to say.
It's one of the good things that Elon Musk has done with Twitter over the last, bit that he took over. Because remember in 2020, like nothing good for Trump ever was on anywhere. Facebook, the news, Twitter. It was only Biden stuff or, anything that the left wants to push, they'll push. Anything that the right wants to push, they wouldn't let. So it's refreshing to have someone like Elon to be able to keep that going, and I mean he paid what, like 20 something billion or more, I don't know what it was a lot of money.
It was a lot. I thought it was around 44, but I could be wrong.
It could be, yeah. So he did that for everyone to have freedom to say what they want, and I think he's done a good job of Twitter, or X, but I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people think differently.
You know what? I'm not all in on Elon because Elon actually comes from the PayPal mafia, and there's a really good thing on YouTube. You can, watch the documentary, and you look to where all those guys from PayPal are today. Okay, you have it's interesting. I don't want to get into it because that's a whole nother segment or two. But so far, he's doing the right thing. But you got to keep in mind, Elon has a lot of government contracts, and in 2009. The United States government bailed out Elon with Tesla. They gave him, I think it was over $400 million. The government ain't just giving you $400 million. Say, hey, we believe in you. There's going to be, promises that you're going to have to keep behind that $400 million. Plus, with SpaceX, you have government contracts. So, you know what? Everything you got to take with a grain of salt. All right. So, all in due time, the truth comes out on people. So we'll see how it rolls on that end. But keep your eye on Brics. Brics is backed by gold. The U.S. dollar is not backed by gold. Brics is. And it's interesting. All these countries that want to get in on Brics and start using it, that's a telltale. And you know what? The U.S. is fuming over it because they know it could actually destroy the U.S. dollar. So, and which is going to hurt me. It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt, if you have assets and everything, it's going to hurt us, but hopefully someone's going to have the common sense and work with other countries to come together as one and be fair. And you know what? You're going to have to share some of the pie. Don't be greedy about it. You're going to have most of the pie, but share it. Stop being a bully about it. All right, listen, hopefully we're giving you some creative knowledge. Look into Brics. Thumbs up. Hit that like button and spread the news about our tribe. Take care.
Everyone.